Good afternoon and welcome to Spectrum Television News at noon. I am Uyai Imem, coming to you live from Uyo, the Akwa Ibom State capital. Let's take a look at the headlines. First Lady Oluremi urges Nigerians to intensify fight against HIV. Akwa Ibom State government bans masquerade, orders 13th month pay before December 20. In other news, former Minister Sadiq sentenced to 2 years in prison in Bangladesh. We'll bring you the details of these stories and more in a moment. Good afternoon and thanks for joining us. We head now to the national scene where the First Lady, Senator Oluremi, has called for renewed commitment to ending the human immunodeficiency virus HIV and acquired immunodeficiency syndrome AIDS by 2030. Tinubu, who made the call in a statement on her X handle to mark the World AIDS Day today, themed Overcoming Disruptions, Transforming AIDS Response, to mark the annual commemoration of the event. She said the 2025 event is marked to serve as a reminder to revamp efforts towards ending HIV/AIDS by 2030. She noted that the country has made progress in HIV prevention, treatment, and care over the years. However, the journey towards an AIDS-free nation continues. The First Lady encouraged young people to take responsibility for their health by knowing their HIV status and seeking treatment if they test positive. In the meantime, as Nigerians join the rest of the world to commemorate World AIDS Day today, a medical expert has raised fresh concerns about the growing vulnerability of young people to HIV/AIDS, calling for renewed commitment to prevention, early testing, and sustained treatment. Speaking in an interview, a Nigerian registered nurse, Akwawo Akpan, described the current HIV/AIDS situation in Nigeria as a mixed picture of progress and persistent risk. He noted that prevention and regular testing remain the strongest tools for ending the spread of the virus, emphasizing that young people must take practical steps such as practicing safe sex, avoiding multiple sexual partners, getting tested frequently, and seeking reliable information instead of relying on myths or social media trends. Akwawa noted that many young people still do not know their HIV status, which increases silent transmission within communities, adding that for those already living with HIV, ongoing care and treatment, especially strict adherence to antiretroviral therapy, plays a crucial role in stopping the spread of the virus. He explained that effective treatment reduces the viral load to an undictatable level, making transmission almost impossible, while calling on young people to take advantage of available support systems such as counseling units, treatment centers, peer groups, and community-based programs that help them stay consistent with their care. Recall that World AIDS Day is marked annually on December 1st, to raise awareness of the AIDS pandemic caused by the spread of HIV infection and mourning those who have died of the disease. Away from that, the Special Advisor to the President on Policy Communication, Dana Wala, has disclosed that the federal government will soon reveal the identities of individuals and networks responsible for financing terrorism in the country. Speaking during an interview, Wala said that the Tinubu administration is already taking far-reaching decisions on national security, which will soon become clear to Nigerians. He added that the current administration is intensifying its efforts to counter the terrorist threat and will soon expose those financing and enabling terrorist activities across the country. The presidential aide further stated that world powers have increasingly recognized the need to support countries like Nigeria, where extremist groups have sought to expand their operations. In the meantime, the federal government has reportedly proposed a 40% salary increase for lecturers under the Academic Staff Union of Universities, a proposal which comes as ASU leadership prepares to return to the negotiation table with the federal government's delegation headed by Yael Ahmed. The union's decision follows a census reached at the National Executive Council meeting held in Abuja yesterday. Meanwhile, branch leaders who attended the meeting are expected to communicate the development to their members nationwide. We head now to the Red Chambers. The Deputy Senate President, Senator Barrow Jibrin, has called on security agencies to go after the marauding bandits who have been terrorizing some villages in Sayawa and Shanono local government areas of Kano State. He made the appeal while reacting to Saturday's attack at Yankamai village in Samwaya, urging security agencies to double their efforts and take the fight to the criminal elements allegedly from neighboring states. In a statement by his media aide Ismail Mudeshia, the senator said incursions of the criminals into the two local governments must be stopped immediately. In a separate development, former Attorney General of the Federation and Minister of Justice Abubakar Malami has dismissed allegations raised by the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission (EFCC) regarding the recovery of the $322.5 million Abacha loot, describing them as baseless, illogical, and unsupported by facts. Reports say Malami, who was summoned by the EFCC on Friday, November the 28th, was later released and given fresh appointment dates for further interrogation. The EFCC is probing alleged duplication in the recovery of the Abacha loot, alongside accusations of abuse of office, and money laundering. In a statement, Malami said the EFCC's inquiry was premised on the claim that a Swiss lawyer, Enrico Mofrini, had completed the recovery before he assumed office in 2015. He argued that the allegation collapses when compared with documented facts. According to him, the recovery of illicit funds can only be deemed completed when the money is lodged into the Federation account. Back here on the home front, Akwa Ibom State Governor Pastor Moina has banned masquerades from parading the streets of the state and terrorizing the citizenry. Speaking during an event at Methodist Church in Nigeria, Uyo, the governor also announced the ban of masquerade display at the state Christmas festival celebration, cautioning local government chairmen to exclude them from their cultural presentations, stressing that the status of Akwa Ibom as a Christian state must be maintained at all cost. On the Christmas celebration, the governor directed the accountant general to pay the 13th month salary, popularly known as a number, to workers before December 2025. He also assured that rice will be sent to all the villages across the state through the local government council and will be supported by political office holders during the December homegoing event. The state's chief executive also used the occasion to admonish Christians to desist from unnecessary negative criticism, but join hands to build a peaceful and united Akwa Ibom where dividends of true democracy thrive. Government House correspondent Jenua reports that the governor therefore reassured of his commitment to rendering transparent and accountable service to the people. We move over now into Africa, where Congolese Nobel Peace laureate Dr. Denis Mukwege has denounced the ongoing peace process between Kinshasa and the M23 rebels aimed at ending the fighting in eastern DRC. In a statement, Mukwege called the Washington and Doha-led initiative illegitimate, precarious, and incapable of guaranteeing lasting peace. Mukwege said the deal neglects the root causes and regional dynamics of the conflict and instead serves foreign geostrategic interest. He also claimed that the people of North and South Kivu have been excluded from the negotiations and are still deprived of their fundamental rights. On the foreign scene, former Minister Tulip Siddiq has been sentenced to 2 years in prison in Bangladesh after being put on trial in her absence alongside 16 other people over corruption allegations. According to reports, she was found guilty of influencing her aunt, Bangladesh's ousted Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina, to secure a plot of land for her family, a claim she strongly denied. Meanwhile, a strong Rabiul Alam sentenced her, Rabiul Alam sentenced her to 2 years in prison with a 100,000 Bangladesh taka fine. Talib has not made any public comment since the verdict was delivered. Still on the foreign scene, United States lawmakers are pressing the Trump administration for answers about military strikes on suspected Venezuelan drug boats, following reports that a follow-up strike was ordered to kill survivors of an initial attack. Republican-led committees overseeing the Pentagon have vowed to conduct vigorous oversight into the U.S. boat strikes in the Caribbean following the report. Recall that Washington Post on Friday reported that a U.S. strike on a boat on September 2nd left 2 survivors, but a second attack was carried out to comply with Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth's order to kill everybody on board. Meanwhile, Hegseth decried the report as fake news, and President Donald Trump said he believed Hegseth's 100%. Still to come in the news. Super Eagles midfielder Alexi Iwobi predicts Nigeria to win AFCON 2025. Stay tuned for details of this and more in a moment. Welcome back and thanks for staying tuned. And now to the rest of the news stories. On our business news, Dangote Petroleum Refinery will from today supply 50 million liters of petrol per day into the Nigerian market. The company said the decision was taken to ensure that there is no shortage of the product during the festive season. This translates to 1.5 billion liters of premium motor spirit for the month of December. It added that the same amount of products will also be supplied in January 2026. President and Chief Executive of Dangote Industries Limited, Aliko Dangote, announced the plans and also revealed ongoing engagement with petroleum marketers to strengthen distribution systems, including expanding the use of CNG-powered haulage. Still in business, Naira recorded a stronger performance during the past week as it rose to 1,446 Naira per dollar, I beg your pardon, marking a 0.69% increase over the previous week's figure of 1,456 Naira per dollar. This strengthening of the Naira followed the sharp volatility of the previous week. Also, the governor of the CBN, Oluremi, at the 60th Annual Bankers' Dinner held in Lagos, noted that foreign capital inflows reached $20.98 billion in the first 10 months of 2025, a 70% increase over total inflows for 2024 and a 428% surge compared with the $3.9 billion recorded in 2023. On our health news, the Nigerian Association of Resident Doctors (NARD) has suspended its 29-day nationwide strike after the federal government met part of its demands. However, the union warned that it would resume industrial action if the remaining conditions are not fulfilled within the agreed timeline. The Secretary General of NARD, Dr. Shuaibu Ibrahim, told journalists that the strike, which began on November 1st, 2025, was suspended following deliberations at an extraordinary National Executive Council meeting held on Saturday. However, Shuaibu emphasized that the association will not hesitate to resume industrial action if the federal government fails to meet the remaining demands within the agreed time frame. Still in health, as Nigeria marked World AIDS Day 2025 with the theme Overcoming Disruption, Transforming the AIDS Response, medical experts say the country can achieve HIV epidemic control if people living with the virus consistently use antiretroviral therapy, given the effectiveness of ART. The Joint United Nations Program on HIV/AIDS and stakeholders in the fight against the infection assured that it was possible to declare an end to the AIDS epidemic by 2030 through effective use of ART. The researchers noted that the days of HIV infection as a dreaded disease are numbered, affirming that with effective use of ART by people living with the disease, Nigeria and the rest of the world would be able to get to a point where no new infection will occur. World AIDS Day, marked annually December 1st, is a global reminder of the fight against HIV/AIDS progress made and the gaps that persist. Now to the world of sports. Super Eagles midfielder Alex Iwobi has made his prediction for the 2025 Africa Cup of Nations starting later this month. Iwobi believes Nigeria will win the 2025 AFCON trophy, having come close in the last edition in Ivory Coast. According to the Fulham Star, the Super Eagles have the players to win the competition. Meanwhile, AFCON 2025 will commence December 21st and end January 18 in Morocco. Still in sports, Jerome Adams Accor has expressed disappointment with Sevilla's derby defeats to Real Betis. The Rojiblancos were beaten 2-0 at home by Real Betis yesterday. Sevilla have now lost 4 of their last 5 league matches. Accor said they should put the defeat behind them and focus on upcoming matches. On entertainment news, American singer Ed Sheeran has opened up about the strain on his marriage in new songs added to the deluxe edition of his album. The singer released 13 additional tracks, and several of them dived directly into the challenges he and his wife, Sherry Seaborn, have faced, painting a picture of a musician grappling with the pressure of fame, fatherhood, and marriage. And that's all we have on this news bulletin. Do well to follow us on social media. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, all of which you can find on our website, spectrumtvlive.ng. This has been Spectrum Television News at 12. Uyai MM. Good afternoon.